Sorry I'm late. I was having trouble with my tripod, and as a result, we have a very interesting setup tonight with the lighting that includes belt suspension. So stay tuned until the end of the episode if you want to take a look at what that is like. Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to the Pop of Color Late Night Show, where we talk about the music business in bright and colorful ways. It's just like one of those American late night talk shows, but instead of talking about politics, we discuss relevant music industry news, events, and all sorts of other things for the artists and the people who support them in the independent music industry. I'm your host, Clara. I run Pop of Color, which is a music marketing agency. I'm based in Canada, but due to the internet, I can talk to people from all over the world. This is the very first time I also live film the episode on Instagram. So hello, everyone who is watching on Instagram Live. It is wonderful to have you on here. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A at the very end, also on Instagram. So please comment and let me know if you would be interested in checking out that. Tonight's episode is going to be talking about artist wardrobes and do's and don'ts of fashion on stage, figuring out your artist persona when it comes to the clothes you wear and how you present yourself in the world of branding, as well as how to be comfortable on stage. If you were hearing the squeaking sounds and the creaking from over there, that is Louise, one of my cats, who is shoving herself into a closet. My cats are probably going to be coming in and out of the video for those of you who are new time watchers. So just so you know, I'll introduce them if they do come up. And once again, stay tuned to the end of the episode to find out why I was late and how I MacGyvered this suspended belt style ring light going on, which I'm never going to do again. But I was running late. I was coming back from a workshop in my city for cover band artists, and I wanted to take a look at the cover band scene and see what the issues in that scene are. So let's talk a little bit about the news of the week. SOCAN, the Society of Canadian Authors, Composers, and Music Publishers, so that would be the same thing as ASCAP, BMI, CSAC in the States, but this is for Canada, where I'm from, has reported record-breaking numbers in revenue for artists last year, so 2018. Yes, Canada. And one of the numbers I found the most interesting personally was that in the last 5 years, revenue for Canadian artists that comes from international markets, international sources of money, has been up 70%. That's 70%. So thank you, internet. Thank you, social media. Thank you, live streaming and sync licenses and the opportunities to be able to write songs and collaborate with artists and performers from all over the world. So thank you, Canada. Thanks you. Next little piece of news I want to look at is Facebook and Instagram are currently building their music library. If you are with a digital distribution service called DistroKid, you might have gotten an email about it recently. And I'm sure that the other distribution services are offering the same thing. If you are watching me on Instagram, you haven't seen this before, but on the Facebook version of this stream, I will try to send the comments to this after. But I always put a link to the archives on my blog for all the news sources and all the references and all the resources so that you can go grab them. But yes, so if you were watching on Facebook, link in description. I always forget everything's mirrored. So yes, so DistroKid, and I'm sure the other streaming distribution services are giving you instructions of how to submit your own original music to be added to the Facebook and Instagram music libraries. What that means is now when you do an Instagram story or live, Facebook stories and Facebook posts, your music can be searched up and put as the background. And that can lead to further exposure, royalties, once that all gets figured out. and all sorts of other ways your music can be heard. You can get more streams, you can build audiences from having your music as background in content. Think of it like sync licensing in the internet. Next piece of news I want to talk about is Warner Music Group is placing a lawsuit against yet to be launched Spotify India. Basically, what's happening is Warner claims that Spotify has not acquired the proper publishing licenses to be able to put Warner artists on their platform. And that's a bit of a problem because this means that Spotify can, if the lawsuit goes forward, Spotify is not allowed to have Warner artists on the platform. And Warner being the third largest label in the world, if you're missing that caliber of artists, it's not going to make Spotify competitive in the Indian market. So I'm going to be watching to see how this plays out, because don't forget, for those of you who are not watching from India, or who it completely slipped your mind because you're focused on the artists and the music fans in your immediate area, India has a lot of people. So if you can make a fan base there of people who stream or people who listen and build a genuine fan base there, you'll have quite large numbers. So that's something worth looking into. While we're on the topic of streaming, for those of you who are familiar with the music lip syncing app TikTok, a report in Pitchfork came out that showed that TikTok pays out artists even smaller royalties than Spotify, and I didn't think that was possible, but here we are. So if you want to read that full report, I have it in the archives on my blog. If you go to popofcolormusic.com, color with a U, spelled the not American way, you'll find at the top, it's under Artist Wardrobe, which is the name of this Late Show episode. Click there, click on any of the links, any of the news sources and stories that you want to hear more about, and go to the original source. And last piece of news I wanted to take a look at, this is in the world of streaming versus traditional albums. Universal Music Group, the largest label in the world, told people, or rather published a report lately that pointed out that the Beatles are still their number 4 most popular best-selling artist on their label. So ahead of them, it's so for the albums last year, it was their top albums were Drake, Post Malone, A Star Is Born, the soundtrack, and then a Beatles album. And it just goes to show that when it comes to popular, the streaming, don't forget, the streaming hasn't yet caught up to the point that unless you're massive, it doesn't beat a sale. I mean, obviously you all know this, being independent artists, but I thought it would be a very interesting read, so I also put it there. It shows numbers, because don't forget, you've got different amounts of streams from different streaming services and different forms of streaming, whether it be passive, active, free, paid. They all amount to different points on the Billboard charts, and different amount of streams equals one paid single equals one paid album. I discussed this a lot in the episode on the Christmas music industry, which you should definitely check out if you haven't checked that one out. But yeah, I found it fascinating to look at it from a larger scale perspective. But don't forget, I don't ever want to forget that I always need to come back down to talking to the independent artists, because this is who it's for, this is who I love to hang out with. And now we are back and we are done the news. I want to just give a little bit of a recap of where I was the last 2 weeks and why I unfortunately could not come on live and have the show. I was in Montreal for Folk Music Alliance. For those of you who don't know this conference, aren't familiar with it, it's about 3,000 folk music people, all in a hotel room. We were in downtown Montreal. We were all in this one hotel room. So it's conferences during the day, conference all night till 3 a.m. It's going to take me till March to catch up on my sleep, I swear. I just finished writing the last follow-up email today. And I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I did it. So yay, this was an amazing, amazing opportunity. I got a Valentine while I was there. This is an actual record made by A to Z Media. Basically, they have a bunch of vendor booths. And, you know, so you've got everything from guitar manufacturers, instrument stores, booking agencies, and they all have their vendor booths. And basically what I did on the last day is I went from booth to booth to booth when they were packing up, asking, hey, is there anything that's not worth for you to bring home? You know, so A to Z Media, who makes, you know, custom merch and helps artists with that, gave me this. It was part of their decor, you know, for Valentine's Day. So I got a Valentine while I was in Montreal. I went to Taylor Guitars next and was like, hey, do you have a guitar that you don't really want to bring home with you? They looked me up and down and said, haha, nice try, kid. And they handed me a Taylor guitar pick. So I'm sure they thought they were joking around, but joke's on them, because this is the first Taylor product I own, and I likely will own for a very long time. So score. Let's just say I had a great time. And yeah. So one last thing I wanted to bring up right before we launch into artist wardrobes and onstage fashion is I am pre-launching my very, very, very first course. So this is a pre-built course because one of my goals in 2019 with my small music marketing company is I'm trying to figure out how to scale. I have no more hours in the day, and I have lineups of artists I want to work with who want to work with me, and it's been very, very frustrating because I cannot fit it all in at the same time delivering a quality product. So what I found with the ability of scalability, if you will, is if you can pre-create something, preferably digital, and then it can just be copied as many times as people are interested, and then you don't have to worry about it. So what I'm doing is I'm building a course right now about email lists for creatives. For those of you who are on my email list, I can see you both on Facebook and on Instagram. I recognize some familiar faces here. This is really the best way that I can communicate with my fans. That's how I recommend people use as a channel to communicate with your fans, because social media goes in and out of style. But what do fans use to sign up for the next one? That's right, their email address. So it's just a bunch of, it's a very idea-based. It's very, let me give you a ton of things you can do, tons of ideas. So it's gonna come with 100 things you can write to your fans that aren't buy my album. It's going to be very focused on not really the technical elements of how to code or how to, you know, set things up, but more along the lines of how can you not make it feel like a chore? How can you integrate it in your day-to-day? How can you best make your fans feel special? So yeah, the course is called Making Fans Special. I haven't finished building it yet. It is on a pre-order, which you can get at, if you're on Instagram, the link in my bio. If you're on Facebook, the description of this video. And yeah, basically pre-order. So when it finally comes out next month, I'm going to be charging the full $60 for it. But if you get it before I build it, it's $25. So do get it. There, okay. So that was shameless plug for my upcoming course. I've already had people buy it and it's like, oh, thank you. Okay, let's talk about your artist wardrobe, artist fashion, personal sense of style, as who you are as a creative person, an entertainer, a performer. So, as an artist, one should be the best dressed one at their gig. And when I say that, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to dress like you went to the Oscars. The Oscars were last night. Who tuned in? Let me know in the comments. But when you walk on stage, people shouldn't be like, who's that random dude who just walked up on the stage? Why are they holding the mic? It should be, oh, there's the person I'm here to see. This is the entertainer. This is the highlight of my night. So, how can you best figure out how to be yourself, be comfortable with your artistic self, with your authentic brand, and amp it up to be the best dressed one of the night? We're going to be talking about that on tonight's episode. I just thought of something else I was gonna bring up, so I'm just writing it down now. I have a notebook, by the way. So that if I'm ever glancing down, it's because I take notes on the news items. I take notes on things I want to bring up, just bullet point notes. This is how I do it. And once again, tune in until the end of the episode and I will show you the crazy lighting setup I had to maneuver last minute, which is why I was slightly late with starting this episode. So, how I consider the best way to channel your style is to figure out how you do it. So an adjective you would use for your style, and then figure out what the extreme is that you feel like you are playing a role, playing a character of yourself. Because you don't want to feel like a parody of yourself, unless if you're not an artist who goes full Lady Gaga in like 2010 with like complete alter ego, complete costumes. You just want to be yourself and play your authentic music, just bare your soul. And I'm talking to the indie singer-songwriters, I'm talking to the alternative bands, I'm talking to the independent, grassroots, small artists here. I'm not talking to the stadium tours that cost like $200 a ticket where fans expect to see a little bit more glitter and backup dancers. But I'm talking for the people who just want to, acoustic or basic or just putting on a show. Figure out your style and figure out the extreme and know how to reel it back. This is what I call the but not rule. But not. So you take a style and then the but not, the extreme. So if I did professional but not stuffy, see? So you've got what I'm aiming for and the extreme. So if I put on an outfit in the morning and I go, oh, that's a bit stuffy, I'll know I have to reel it back and make it less stuffy. If I go for contemporary but not slave to the trends, you can judge where you are on that fine line and be able to slide back and forth on the spectrum. That's the idea. So if you can think of one for you, let me know in the comments. Let me know. I have a free downloadable of how to do that for your artist persona as well and your personality, which is free to download if you go to the archives of this episode. So if you're on Facebook, that would be show archives, last link at the bottom. If you're on my Instagram, go to my blog and it's the top one it's the top article. So artist wardrobe. But yeah, so if you've got, you want to dress casual, but not just roll out of bed. For example, so finding that line. You want to look vintage, but not like your grandma bought these clothes for you. There you go. Youthful, not childish. Sophisticated, but not feeling like when you were a kid trying on your parents' work clothes. That is the line, and that is how you know when you've gone too far in one direction and how to reel it back while being your authentic self, but still figuring out how to amp it up so you're still the best dressed one in the room, because you are an entertainer, you are here to perform, you are here to slightly turn up the volume on your wardrobe so people know, yes, that is the highlight of the night who just walked into the bar or the coffee shop or the venue. Now, I wanted to talk about some tactical and practical ways to dress. So these are a little bit of do's and don'ts. I wrote an article a little while back called The 10 Commandments of On-Stage Fashion, and I'm going to be borrowing heavily from it because I feel like lots of these still stand. So let's go. Commandment number 1, thou shalt not wear saggy pants. Now, this doesn't, don't get me wrong, this does not refer to artists who wear saggy pants on purpose. I'm talking about acoustic singer-songwriters who are, trying to confess their heartfelt poetic emotions, but have to stop playing guitar every few seconds to hitch up their jeans because their jeans are too big. This is called a belt. It is your friend. We don't want to be distracted. We want to be able to focus on you, and if you distract us with the fact that your clothes don't fit right and they're falling off you while you're performing, and not intentionally, that is not good. Make sure you can bend over in your clothing. If you are wearing jeggings or skinny jeans, do they have enough stretch? Same with bodycon dresses for the ladies. You want something with enough stretch so that if you drop your guitar pick, you're able to, or your sheet music, you're able to lean over and pick it up without ripping something. Next one is with stage lights, don't forget that everything is brighter and therefore more likely to be see-through. So if I take a regular shirt, so this is like regular tank top, it's a little bit see-through when I wear it normally, but if I wear this under the stage lights, I don't know if you can see it here, but like you can see everything. Like I'm pretty sure I can see you guys through this. That is not good on stage. This is a very, very bad idea to be accidentally showing your underwear because you did not realize how bright the stage lights were and you got up and you're performing and people aren't focusing on your art. Same now. Oh, in the opposite direction, if you are going to be wearing long sleeves or stuff that on the more thick side, you don't want to overheat either. So it's also brighter on stage between the stage lights, the crowd, the adrenaline pumping through you, your movements, especially if you're dancing, if you're going to be on stage for a long time. So if you're hesitating, don't bring the sweater. Don't wear the sweater, don't wear the jacket. Just go with one layer if you can, or do layers that can be taken off as you go. Don't go full Adam Levine at the Super Bowl, please. But you get what I mean. When it comes to dress shirts and sweaters, make sure they don't itch, because if you're on stage under bright lights, sweating as it is, the last thing you need is an itchy wool sweater. Hello, Earl. I've got a cat here. Do you want to meet him? This is Earl. I'm sure you've seen him in my Instagram posts, but he's very, very cute, and he loves being the center of attention. Louise is over there judging us, but that's her loss. You may go. Don't drink my tea. So no scratchy dress shirts, no scratchy sweaters. If you are going to be wearing a more risque outfit, so this is along the lines of something that is has a very short skirt or requires double-sided tape, make sure you can move in it and you feel comfortable in it enough that you're not too scared to dance, to clap, to sit down, to make any sudden movements. Because if you're wearing an outfit, no matter how awesome and fabulous you look standing still posing, if you're scared to make sudden movements in it because something is going to fall out, you're going to be too worried about that to give your all in a performance. Sleeves. If you're wearing long sleeves, keep them tight at the top. You don't want to go full kimono, full billowy sleeves if you are playing an instrument. This is referring to instrumentalists only, because if you're going to get your sleeves all over your acoustic guitar strings, it will dampen the sound. Same thing with a piano or a fiddle or any other instrument where long billowy sleeves are going to get in the way. When it comes to shirts, keep it simple. When it comes to the design. So if you are sponsored by a company, you can wear their logo. If you are not sponsored by their company, or worse, sponsored by their competitor, don't wear a shirt with a logo. If you remember back in school when it came to the golden rule of PowerPoint presentations, the more text you put on the screen behind you, the less people are going to pay attention to what you actually have to say because they're going to be reading that instead. So don't wear a busy shirt with lots of words. Instead, keep it simple, keep it clean so that people can focus on what you have to say, your original art. And last but not least, when it comes to the do's and don'ts, is comfortable shoes. Oh my goodness. Your gig is not the time to try out a new pair of high heels or boots or anything that is going to give you blisters by the end of the night, make it uncomfortable, you're going to wobble over in, or anything that's going to distract or detract from your music. You want to feel comfortable, so comfortable that you want to feel comfortable enough to be yourself and give your all into your music and not be distracted by feeling uncomfortable in what you're wearing. And you don't want your fans or potential new fans to feel like you feel awkward or to be worried about your wardrobe, potential wardrobe malfunctions. You want them to be focused on you. You just have to be a bolder version of yourself. Oh, I was gonna show you a quick thing with makeup. So I'm not wearing makeup tonight. There's only one product on my face, and that is pressed powder. Because when you're under stage lights or when you're performing, the dewy glow look doesn't always look right, especially if you've got like the heat, the stress, the adrenaline, and everything. You're just gonna end up looking really, really sweaty, especially by the end of it. For some artists, think rockers, music festival, that's fine. For some in the coffee shop, it's not. I recommend having something that is a pressed powder. A metal case works best because these things are bloody indestructible. Toss in the back of your gig bag with a kabuki brush. I'm going full makeup guru right here, sorry. Like little brush, can pop out, toss those bottom of your gig bag. Keep everything super, super matte because the less shine you've got on your face going on, that includes lip gloss, the less reflection it's going to give, the better you'll look in photos, which is great for content for after, or for thanking your fans who came up to see you, for videos, for photos, for being able to submit to festivals and other gigs later. So yes, that is what I wanted to cover with onstage fashion. Some other general fashion rules are the, here's one I'll bring up. This one I learned recently. It's called the ABC rule. So A for accentuate, B for balance, C for conceal. So you make one thing pop, you go neutral, and you balance out big and small, all bright and neutral, busy and simple. So just, yeah. That is what I want to talk about when it came to onstage wardrobe, onstage fashion. If you have any thoughts concerning this, please, please, please let me know in the comments. I love meeting you. I love talking to all of you. Thank you for joining me. I did say if you hung on to the end, you would get to see my awkward, weird lighting setup. So let me show it to the Instagram people first. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, got suspended from a belt and it goes down. So this is why I was late. Same thing goes here. So I've got suspended from a belt. This is, yeah, my tripod decided to be a little weird on me today. So yeah, have a wonderful evening or day, depending on when you're watching. Be good to each other, stay colorful, pre-order my course, please. It's a discount, so over 60% off. Say hello to the cats, and I will see you next time. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, the Pop of Color live show. We talk about the music business for bright and colorful artists. Good night.